I've wanted to be a teacher for as long as I can remember. I used to gather my stuffed animals up for lessons in elementary school and instruct them in math, of all things. I definitely went back and forth between other professions, but always coming back to teaching as something that I just felt called to do. And I chose English education specifically because I love stories and feel like story is not just joyful, but important to the human experience, and literature as windows and mirrors, and just a vehicle for learning about the world and being part of the world. I just felt drawn to English education. As a part of my teaching philosophy, I think it's really important for kids to learn a whole lot about their world and what matters to them. And I think it's really important for them to think about who they want to be. So when I'm thinking about literature and writing, I want that to serve some purpose in helping kids shape who they want to be and what they value. So when I got a message from a certain Michael Vazquez from the Parr Center for Ethics asking if I'd be interested in doing this kind of ethical deliberation workshop, I was surprised and very intrigued. And I'll tell you, I didn't actually ask a lot of questions about where this came from. I was like, cool, I would love to do that. I've loved the Paideia approach to discussion for a long time. So I've done a lot of work with their seminars. So this seemed like a natural extension of that, of coming together with kids around a relatively short text where you can talk about what is this text saying and what do I think about it, and then what do my peers think about it, and integrate that information. So it's sort of a natural extension to a teaching structure that I see a lot of value in. So when we did the ethical deliberation workshops with 6th graders these last 2 years, the favorite ones have been the puppies in need and the cheating example. So the puppies in need is you start off with this idea. So we introduce the case to the students, and they're on their way to an important athletic event, and they come across a set of puppies that are in great need. And they have to make a decision. Do I go to the thing that I was planning to go to, or do I take care of these puppies? And so we introduce the case to the students, and then they think about it for a moment and then go to an area of the room based on what they say. I'm going to go to my event, I'm going to save the puppies. And they talk with the folks who are there, hearing from their peers, and then share out. And invariably there are some kids that wind up in the middle that genuinely cannot make a decision about it for some reason, and then they usually share their thinking too. And as part of that conversation, kids are invited to move if their thinking changes. And that's pretty interesting, and often the facilitator will ask, what happened there? Would you mind sharing why you shifted? And kids are usually pretty eager to share that. Then the facilitator complicates it and introduces some new element that makes it a harder decision. And that sort of progressively increases until we get to a point where it maybe sort of really highlights some major ethical issues. And I think about kids that are sort of surprising, and where there's maybe been some movement in how they perceive the world. There's a couple of kids that come to mind, and it's the kind of kid that usually barrels through life, right? The other kind of kid that's sort of on the same plane, but not necessarily in as positive or as joyful a way, is the kind of kid who really doesn't listen to anybody else. Is pretty sure that he or she has all the answers, and I'm not really interested in what you people are doing. This kind of conversation does move the needle for kids like that. And I'm thinking my bull in the china shop kid that I'm thinking about right now in my head. When we do these ethical dilemma workshops, kids hear the case and then they stand up and they move. And for a kid that, like my kid that's like barreling through life, that engages him right away because it's already gotten physical, right? He gets to move, he gets to talk. But on days that we had the Parr Center working with kids, the one after another was like, is it an ethics day? Is it an ethics day? Are the ethics people here today? Like kid after kid after kid after kid, right? So when I'm thinking about what I want kids to get out of classroom dialogue, or when I think about what I was hoping they would get out of the ethical deliberation workshops, I'm not specifically hoping they're going to change their mind. That's not interesting to me specifically. It's much more interesting to me that they become more skillful in taking in information, really listening to someone else's point of view and deciding what they think about it and make a decision. It's also really important to me that they consider impact of decisions, as I believe deeply that public education is crucial to democracy. We need kids who are curious about their world and see that they can do something on the things that matter to them, whatever that might be, as agents of their own lives, like making decisions about what do I care about, what do I need to learn or care about, and what do I want to do with that? How do I contribute to the world? So I think from what I've seen in my time with kids is they want to work hard. They want to engage with interesting things. They want to be challenged to do things they haven't done before, to think about things they haven't done before. That is joyful. That feels good, especially when you get to have a say in some of the things of what you do and how you contribute to that conversation. And I think kids are very naturally curious about the world around them, and they love opportunities to learn something new or to add to their knowledge about something they care about.